The time has come. Tim Burton's Batman movies shall have their day. For the time is now for the review of the Tim Burton Batman films by Scottish Warrior 92. Welcome everyone. I hope you enjoy the little show. Welcome to my review of the Tim Burton Batman movies. Batman and Batman Returns. The Warrior is here to review these. I'm going to be honest and tell you, this is the official beginning of Batman Week, where I'm going to review all of the Batman films and maybe one or two other Batman themed things and give my honest opinion on both. Hope you enjoy the little makeup. I thought that would look pretty cool. For I am the Scottish Warrior 92 and this review is about to begin. So firstly, let's start with the first Batman movie, this one, which is part of the Batman Legacy box set that I got a few years ago. Firstly, this was the first Batman movie. I'm not including the one with Adam West. I haven't seen that one, and I haven't seen the original Adam West TV series. I've only seen bits and pieces of it. So that was a campy Batman, but this is definitely the Batman that started it all. This became everyone's favourite Batman for various reasons. Now let me tell you in my introduction to the Batman character. My first introduction to him was the Batman animated series. I didn't see this movie until many years later. And I can tell you right now, I enjoyed this film. This isn't going to be like my typical reviews, this is going to be what I think of them. And I enjoyed this film. It was really good. It was much more darker. Tim Burton's style is all over this movie. It's darker, you can tell. Not too dark that kids don't want to enjoy it, but it's definitely a darker version of Batman, the gothic one that a lot of people like and enjoy. I'm going to tell you what I liked about it. I like the style. It's quite dark, it's quite gritty. It's much more mature than than the other two Schumacher Batman films and the Batmans previous to this movie. I'll tell you what I liked and then I'll tell you what I didn't like. What I liked is Batman's character. Michael Keaton, is it? Sorry, I'm terrible with names. Is it Michael Keaton? Yeah, Michael Keaton actually did a really good Batman. He's much more the traditional Batman, the brooding one, the one that barely says anything. I think he has very few lines in this movie. He doesn't say a lot. Not the same with Batman Returns, but I said the Batman isn't it. I think he got the Batman character done well, but he didn't get the Bruce Wayne character done well. Bruce Wayne's maybe a party animal, so people don't suspect him to be Batman. And this one, he's fucking broody, he's quiet, he's kind of dull, in my opinion. Bruce Wayne, but Batman is where he shines. Also, the Batsuit is fantastic. That's the Batsuit that I like, and I enjoyed. So I like that part. They didn't really flush out his backstory as much as I'd like. They did change a little bit of the mythos, with Joker being the person that can't kill his parents, which isn't true, but we'll get to that in a moment. So, as I say, the style's good, it's enjoyable. Batman is Michael Keaton sells the show basically. Without him, I don't think this movie would have done as well. But here's then as well. So I like the style of the city of Gotham City. It was very comic booky, to say the least. It had some great characters, it had some enjoyable ones. The main focus though is of course Batman and Joker, and I'll get to Joker in a minute. Yeah, that's all I really liked about that film. Batman in particular is the best part of this movie. Let's get to the stuff that I didn't like. The damsel in distress, Vicky Vale, despised her. I'm sorry, she's the stereotypical one. I think mostly of the time in this entire movie she mostly screams, which is really annoying. It really starts to hurt your ears after a while, which is really annoying after a while. And of course the big thing where Alfred took her down to the bloody goddamn Batcave. I'm sorry, the moment Alfred done that, his job would be he'd be in the fucking job line. Another problem I've got with the Batman films is always the goddamn female that figures out who he is, or he tells who he is, which really drove me up the fucking wall. I'll say that right now. Alfred is actually alright. Alfred is really good. He's the only thing that really saves this film, saves the other two films in my opinion. But we're sticking to the Tim Burton ones. So yeah, another thing I didn't like, I didn't actually like Jack Nicholson as the Joker. I think he done an okay job. He really got the eccentric Joker down. The only thing I don't like about the Batman film with the Joker in it is it gives his origin basically, which if you know enough about the Joker's character, you kind of don't know. Joker has no origin, he's just there. There have been different versions of its origin, the most popular one, the killing joke, being the most apparent, and this is the one that Tim Burton uses. He falls into that fucking acid. He doesn't use it completely, but that would have been much better in my opinion. But yeah, as I said, I didn't really like Jack Nicholson. He kind of went a little too far, if I'm going to be honest. He really got the character of Joker down, but I just didn't like the fact that they gave him an origin and they kind of, yeah, he was almost too cartoony, too comic booky. You wouldn't really believe that. It wasn't a very believable character. But then, of course, he did get the anarchist thing done. He done a good job. The laugh is also one thing that I kind of nitpicked. I didn't like the Joker laugh from Jack Nicholson. I don't really enjoy that much. I'm much more of the Mark Hamill Joker laugh and the Heath Ledger laugh. The I can't do it, but very over the top. But Jack Nicholson ones didn't really date for me. I did like the way he portrayed some parts of the character. Really got Joker down, but overall I didn't really enjoy him as much. And of course, he fucking dies. What's the point in killing off Joker? He's the best fucking villain of Batman there is. You don't kill off Joker. It's the main problem I had with this thing. But overall, what did I think of it? It was alright. The Batman film hasn't aged that well, in my opinion. Most of it is okay, but the Tim Burton Batman hasn't aged that well in the sense of a movie. It's still an enjoyable one. I would definitely say that if you're a Batman fan, definitely see it if you haven't seen it already, but fucking everyone's seen it, so there's no point in me saying that. But overall, it's much darker than most Batmans that we're used to. So definitely, if you're not into that darker Batman, don't watch this. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was decent, but it hasn't aged well. I really got sick and tired of the Burton style of filmmaking years ago. And this one is just one of his early works. It's alright, it's decently done, but not really to my liking anymore. When I was a kid, I fucking loved it, but as I grow older and I watch it, it's not really to my liking anymore. I don't like it as much as I did back then. My opinion has changed on it, but overall, it's still a good Batman film, and Michael Keaton still steals the show. So let's move on to the next Batman film, the one that everyone critically goes, what the fuck was Tim Burton thinking? Because this made a fuck ton of money back in 1989? Yeah, 1989. This made a fuck ton of money. One of the best-selling superhero movies of all time. This movie didn't make anywhere near that for the one simple reason is, this thing is fucking dark. And it has one of the biggest problems I have with the two of these movies. Batman fucking kills people. And Batman, more so in Batman Returns, he fucking kills people. For fuck's sake, he uses his Batmobile's afterburners to bloody burn someone. Literally like a flamethrower. Which really bugged me. Really, I hated that fact that basically Batman killed. In both of these films, basically. Not so much in this one, more so in this one. And also he uses fucking guns. Batman doesn't use guns. Really drove me up the wall. So that's one of the major cons I've got for this film is Batman kills. Batman does not kill. At all. Also, this movie is much more darker than the original Batman. Tim Burton really went all out for this, and that's not a good thing for Tim Burton. One thing you don't want to do when you give Tim Burton a movie, don't let him go all out, because he goes extremely dark in this. Very much so, much more for the adult audience. I'll say that right now. Much more darker, which is a good and a bad thing. After that film, after Batman Returns, he was kicked off of the Batman franchise. Good thing, and then he moved on to the Superman franchise, but yeah, we'll get to that another day. But basically, here's the pros and cons of Batman Returns. The pros. Michael Keaton, as always, is fantastic. He really gets the Batman character in. Same problem though as Batman, he barely says anything. I think he has the least lines in this entire movie. Which, more so in Batman, but he has more in Batman Returns. He has very few lines. Most of the time you're going for the visual look of Batman, which is alright in my opinion, but could have used a bit more work if he had a few more lines. Catwoman, played by Michelle Pfeiffer. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Really good Catwoman, really decent Catwoman. Not really the Catwoman I had envisioned, but a decent Catwoman. She got the right personality down. The outfit was actually quite sleek and sexy. That kind of worked for her an advantage. Really well done. The Catwoman was really good. Not the main focus of the film, but she was good enough to let it slide. And of course, let's get to the main one. Danny DeVito as Penguin. I will say this now, Penguin is one of the most disturbing characters in this movie. I mean, literally, I think he gave children nightmares. He did when I was a kid anyway, and ugh, creepy. But I will say this about Danny DeVito, he really done his best in this role. He done a fantastic job as fucking Penguin. He really kind of got the character down, but with Tim Burton at the head, he went a little darker than he should have. I mean, way too dark. Even fucking gone in, cannibalism by biting a guy's nose off. He went darker and darker, and it really shows in this film. It really bugged me at that point as well. But I think he done a good job overall, in my opinion. Danny DeVito really done something with a role that was extremely dark, which shouldn't be extremely dark, and kind of made it his own and done a really good job. He really did scare you, which was the emphasis of him, but at the same time he scared you a little too much. Penguin's meant to be suave, sophisticated, but also quite psychotic as well. And this, Tim Burton kind of went overboard with him, really overboard. I mean, so much so that if it wasn't for the fact that he was called Penguin, I don't think he could be classified as the Penguin character. You could fucking name him anything and he'd be pretty much a whole different character. But yeah, Tim Burton went too far in my opinion with the Penguin. He went way too far. Especially in Batman Returns, he went way too far with everything big. He made it more darker, and it didn't really suit that Batman style. It really didn't. He had Batman killing, for fuck's sake, which pissed me off. Really pissed me off. And of course, Christopher Walken's in the Batman Returns, and he's funny as hell. I can't help but laugh. I mean, he isn't like his usual self, but he's still pretty funny. But I liked it. It was really good, really enjoyable. If I'm going to be honest, I kind of prefer. I don't really. It's the same with the Batman film, with Tim Burton's Batman. Same with this one. It's the same with this one. After watching it a second time, after a few years, it hasn't aged well. My opinion has changed a bit, and I don't really like it as much as I did back then. If I'm going to be honest. But yeah, I really did enjoy. It There was some bits that I didn't like, and just overall, my opinion has changed on it. But yeah, that's what I like. So let me just get to the overall thoughts. So, what do I think of the Tim Burton Batman films? Let me just give my overall focus on his style, basically. Overall, I don't like the Tim Burton style. I never have. I have enjoyed his films like Edward Scissorhands, Corpse Bride was alright, and one or two other films I have seen. But overall, I didn't really like these movies as I did 3 years ago. After rewatching them, I didn't really like them that much. My opinion has changed, and I really don't like the style that Tim Burton was going with these movies, if I'm going to be honest. After rewatching them and having a wee proper look at them, analysing them, and really gone into really deep detail, I honestly can say I don't really like these films anymore. I still would watch them, I still classify them as good Batman films, but there's just too many problems, especially with the Tim Burton style. I don't like those parts, if I'm going to be honest. The way that Tim Burton took the Batman character and some of the villains, especially Penguin, I didn't like. I really didn't like anymore. Like, back when I was a kid, when I loved Batman obsessively, I enjoyed them. They were good, they were still entertaining. But overall, I just have to say this, Tim Burton went way too far with these films in my opinion, more so with this one. This one is still good and still watchable, it doesn't really have a major impact with Tim Burton, but this one is definitely the one that Tim Burton went way too fucking far. So, I can definitely say that much, that these films have not aged well for me personally. They're still good Batman films. They're still enjoyable, still ones that I would stick on every now and then to watch, but they haven't aged well for me, and I can honestly say Tim Burton, in my opinion, didn't really get the character of Batman the way that I liked him. He may have got him the way you liked him, but he didn't get him the way I like him. I like Batman the more style in the animated series, and more so in the Nolan films, which I'll get to after I do the other two, which I'm not looking forward to. But I can tell you right now, these are still worth a watch. They're still good Batman films, and I would definitely recommend them if you're a Batman fan. And even if not, just stick them on for a laugh. More so this one than that one, though. I would not let my little sister watch this. I can tell you that right now. This is fucked up. This is fucked up beyond belief. So yeah, Tim Burton, he's eccentric, he's crazy, it's emphasised in his style of films, especially here. I think this is one of his early works, like when he was given the role, and he done his job introducing us to the character of Batman back then, but he went too far in my opinion with this one. If he had toned it back a bit, maybe this could have been another trilogy that he could have done. But overall, and also Batman Returns is the most over fucking used title in fucking movie history. Why? But yeah, so overall, here's what I got to say. Tim Burton didn't really get Batman for me after rewatching these films. He's still a good director. He did really introduce us to the Batman character. I like some things that he's done. I hate other things that he's done. So definitely he's a 50-50 for me in my opinion. But overall, after rewatching these films, I don't enjoy them as much as I did back then, but they're still worth a watch. So I'm brutally honest, I can't help it. But I would definitely say, if you want the super dark Batman, these are definitely a must watch. If you want the campy Batman, I'll get to those, don't worry. But more people, if I'm going to be honest, I prefer the Nolan films over these ones. Mainly because Nolan goes dark, but not too dark that it basically gives you nightmares. Especially with the Joker. Heath Ledger Joker is better than Jack Nicholson, I'll say that right now. But yeah, also the big problem that I have with this is the damsel in distress with Batman. Not so much in this, which is Catwoman, which is done alright. Fucking damsels in distress really piss me off, or as I call them, dumbasses in distress. But yeah, overall, Tim Burton done a decent job in my opinion, but in my opinion, they're not the Batman that I want. So yeah, overall, take a shot every time I say overall, then you end up seeing how drunk you get. But yeah, after it, I would say that there's definitely good Batman films, definitely a good try at making Batman really dark, really gritty, sometimes too dark in my opinion, but yeah, overall I'd say good Batman films. So definitely if you're a Batman fan, a must watch. So I hope you enjoyed this little review of Batman for the beginning of Batman week, where I'm going to be reviewing Batman films and maybe the game or two. Now if you excuse me, I have to go and watch the other two Batman films that I'm going to review next time. Forever and Batman and Robin. Pray, please, pray for me. Oh God, I do not want to watch these again. I so don't. Oh God, please, God. You are gonna get. You just want to watch me suffer, don't you? Oh God, I want to die. Schumacher, you're about to get the Scottish Warrior 92 review treatment, and trust me, I ain't gonna be nice. Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go and get in the appropriate mindset to watch these films. Where the hell is my hammer?